Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you joining me here today. As always, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, as the case may be for you when you are watching. I want to think today about bigotry. Bigotry of any form. For the purposes of, or for ease of communication, I guess, I've selected a couple of YouTube videos that deal exclusively with racism, but the conversation about bigotry doesn't have to be reduced to solely about racism. It can be about anything. LGBTQIA plus specifically, but many others. And one of the great questions, philosophical questions, I have argued with over many years of my life is something that I can best phrase like this. I am intolerant of intolerance. Does that make me an intolerant individual? And that's probably a really deep thought or a very shallow thought, depending on your perspective. But it is something that I spend an awful lot of time on. And I go back and forth on it. Sometimes I say, yes, I am intolerant, and sometimes I say, no, because we have to be intolerant of intolerance. Now, I have asked Sam Harris to talk with me on a podcast or a video about that very question. For those of you who don't know who Sam Harris is, bear with me. Or I'm sorry, for those who do, bear with me as I talk about him. For those who don't, Sam Harris is a hero of sorts for me. I always have to introduce him as the son of Susan Harris, because I will always view Susan Harris as having a special place in my life. Of course, as the writer for The Golden Girls and Benson and Soap and so many great comedies, sitcoms, if you will. So I always think of him in that context first. But that's not really fair, because Sam is a great mind. He is a neuroscientist and a philosopher, and just a joy to listen to. He makes me think so deeply about so many things. There's no way I can ever thank him for it. He and I have engaged in a brief email back and forth about racism in a different context, but some time ago. And it's my hope that perhaps he will join me. I don't know. I have extended the request, the invitation, and I hope he will join me. Nonetheless, I will be featuring a segment from his recent Making Sense podcast, talking about the Joe Rogan controversies. And I will also be featuring a segment from a video much older than that, some 31 years old now, featuring Christopher Hitchens as guest host on CNBC's Talk Live from 1991. So I will be featuring both of those at some point here. I want to start out, though, with a quote from the late Supreme Court Justice Potter Stewart in a little bit different context. So this is from the Supreme Court case of Jacobellis versus Ohio regarding pornography. And Justice Potter Stewart wrote, "I shall not today attempt further to define the kinds of material I understand to be embraced within that shorthand description, in other words, hardcore pornography, and perhaps I could never succeed in intelligibly doing so. But I know it when I see it, and the motion picture involved in this case is not that. I know it when I see it." Now, we've all heard that phrase used so many times in so many different contexts, but I thought I would introduce this video by talking about that, or by quoting from it. I don't think any of us can adequately define what bigotry is, in this case, what racism is, with black and white, pardon the phrase, descriptions. I think we know it when we see it. Now, I think Sam Harris and I are going to disagree on that, both from our previous email exchange, but also from the segment that I am going to play for you. And I think it's this scene. It is. So this is the excerpt from his podcast, and I'm going to just play it here for you.
To allege that a person is racist is of necessity to claim that he cares about the variable of race in ways that he shouldn't, that he prefers certain groups of people for reasons that he shouldn't, that he takes pride in things he shouldn't, and that he has contempt, or at least disregard, for certain people based purely on the color of their skin or some other superficial racial characteristic. Real racists don't want people of other races to truly succeed. They feel more or less compassion for the suffering of other human beings based primarily on their racial identities. This is why the "some of my best friends are black" calumny is so silly and destructive. If a person is white and some of his best friends are black, I don't care what jokes he laughs at. He is not a racist.
That last line, if some of his best friends are black, he is not racist. That's something I want to stick in the back of your mind here. I'm next going to play the excerpt from the CNBC Talk Live broadcast in 1981 featuring the late, great Christopher Hitchens interviewing John Metzger, a white supremacist, white Aryan racist. And I want you to listen to what they have to say and compare that and contrast it to what Sam Harris just had to say.
What does the word mud people mean, or the term mud people
It's
mean?
slang for the third world invasion. Have you seen any of the third world invasion in New York?
I'm not quite sure what invasion you mean.
Well, you know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean. New York City is sinking into a swamp of third world mediocrity.
But mud, does it have a special meaning to you? This is your chance to clarify.
I'm a farm boy. I know what mud means.
Well, go on then.
Mud, the slang for, I told you, the slang for mud is, it's for the third world invasion of the North America.
Doesn't bother you that black racists like Mr. Coakley in Chicago say the same thing about abortion, AIDS, and so on, and Jewish doctors?
It doesn't bother me a bit. In fact,
you feel a solidarity with racists of all colors and creeds?
I am in solidarity with all racial separatists, no matter what color they are.
So you're...
I'm in solidarity with all racists, no matter what color they are. So, to me, what I hear there is what has often been referred to in the context of who we go to war with on our side. The enemy of the enemy is my friend. And I think all of that contradicts Sam Harris's position that a person who has friends who are black is not racist. And here's why I propose that is wrong. We make alliances with people for all sorts of reasons. Perhaps we work together. Perhaps we're in social groups together, churches, other social groups. And I believe that we make allowances for people within those groups that we might not make outside those groups. I remember a Sunday school discussion at church. Yes, I used to go to church regularly. I remember a Sunday school discussion at church talking very specifically about racism. And someone was talking about a friend who was black, and she was relating a story. So this comes down second or third hand. No reason to doubt its authenticity. I think we probably have all heard similar things. She was in conversation with someone, and the individual said, "Well, I don't really think of you as black." To which she replied, "Well, you better think of me as black because I am black. And everything that goes with being black is part of who I am." And so I do think that there is room to discount or even ridicule the phrase, some of my best friends are black. As not being indicative of non-racism, if that makes sense. In other words, just because you make allowances for the people who are within your group who happen to be black or who happen to be LGBTQIA+, or who happen to be atheist, or you name it. Just because you make allowances for them in your life, because you have some other tie that binds you, is not an indication that you are not bigoted towards other members of that person's class based on their being a member of that class. I hope I'm making sense there. If I have someone who is and I can't put myself in this position because I really don't have any bigotry towards people based on classes. But let's assume for a moment that I am someone who has a black friend or a black couple of friends. But otherwise, I see other black people who are not them in ways that are totally stereotypical, that are race-based, what have you. I don't think one can look at me and say, well, you know, Alan has these two friends who are black, therefore he can't be racist. I don't think that's true at all. And I think Sam has that entirely wrong, unless I am misunderstanding what he's saying. That's why I would like to have him discuss this, as well as the question of if I am intolerant of intolerance, does that make me an intolerant person? So those are my thoughts. I don't want to get too long into this. I see I'm at 18 minutes already, and that's a long time to keep people's attention on some of these videos. But I wanted to start the conversation. Hopefully, so far I haven't had a lot of interplay with my videos. I'm hoping this might bring some discussion in favor or in support of my position. I'm open to both. Please comment freely, and I will reply to the comments. Please subscribe to my channel, as always. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Heck, even if you don't like it, give it a thumbs up. It helps me with the famous YouTube algorithms. I certainly appreciate all of you joining me today. I may be making one additional video today, and that is because for the next 2 weeks I will be in Rochester, Minnesota, at Mayo Clinic, undergoing some extensive medical testing, trying to chase things down. So I know at least through March 2nd, I will not be putting any more videos out here. So I may try to get one more video out here either today, or at least get it recorded today and timed for release at some point next week. I don't really see a point in doing that delayed release. So I may just go ahead and release them both. At any rate, thanks for joining me. I really, really, really do appreciate it. I really ask for your comments. Please share this video as widely as you can. It's meant to help me think. It's meant to help all of us think. So, until the next time we meet here on my channel, live happy and healthy. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.